Hello everyone, welcome to the Concern Podcast where we unpack political, socio-economic and cultural stories shaping our world. I'm Emmanuel Taban, and on this section of our podcast, I want us to look at one aspect for 2027 in Kenya, and that is about the possibility of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga deserting Ruto or leaving the broad-based government and wanting to vie for presidency in 2027. And what I'm seeing here is that I feel that Raila Odinga is being trapped into the broad-based government. He's being trapped by William Ruto into the broad-based government to an extent where it will be very, very hard for him to desert Ruto and just come out in 2027 and say he will vie for presidency, or that ODM is going to front a presidential candidate for 2027. It's going to be hard for him. And I'll explain why I feel that William Ruto has acted so smart by trapping Raila Odinga into the broad-based government. And this is how I feel that Raila Odinga is being trapped into the broad-based government. I'll explain. So last year, when the Gen Zs took on the streets to protest against the punitive finance bill that they consider, what they did was that, because the argument was that the prices of items were high, the economy was not functioning, the country was dealing with lots of debts, and there was a lot of overtaxation on the Kenyan citizens, and the young people went on the streets, and including Raila Odinga supporters, who mainly ODM or the Azimio La Umoja political coalition, they all went on the streets protesting against Ruto's rule. But then what Ruto did was that, and I feel this is how Ruto acted so smart. He went on and tapped some members of ODM and brought them into government. That's how they formed the broad-based government. He brought in people that were called experts from the ODM political party, and they were brought in into government, likes of Opiyo Wandayi, who is made to be the cabinet secretary for energy and petroleum, Ali Hassan Joho, cabinet secretary for mining, blue economy and maritime affairs, Wycliffe Oparanya, cabinet secretary for cooperatives and micro, small and medium enterprises development, John Badi, cabinet secretary for national treasury and economic planning. So these people were brought into government by William Ruto, and they were part of the ODM political party. In fact, they were holding very prominent positions in ODM. Opiyo Wandayi was the leader of minority in the National Assembly under ODM. John Badi, Hassan Ali Joho, they were all leaders in ODM political party, but William Ruto went in and tapped them, brought them into government. And they are not just holding like these ordinary positions in government. They are not leading ordinary ministries in the government. They are leading very, very prominent ministries in the Ruto government right now. Very prominent. Cooperatives, the Ministry of Cooperatives, micro, small and medium enterprises, very important ministry. Ministry of National Treasury and Economic Planning, very important. Mining, blue economy and maritime affairs, very important. And what else? Energy and petroleum by Opiyo Wandayi. These are all very prominent ministries in the government. William Ruto went in and brought all these people into government, And now, the reason why I'm saying it's going to be hard for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga in 2027 to desert the broad-based government or desert William Ruto and go to the Kenyan and say he's going to be vying for he's going to be a presidential candidate, it's going to be hard for him. Because one, There's so many people who believe that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga is playing so cool, and that Raila Odinga is speaking through other ODM members, guys like Edwin Sifuna, guys like James Orengo, guys like the governor of Kisumu, Anyang' Nyong'o, guys like the governor of Kisii. There are people who believe that Raila Odinga is actually speaking through these people, but he's acting innocent. People have the notion that time will come for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to actually leave the broad-based government and desert William Arap Samuel Ruto, and he will actually vie for presidency in 2027. But this is why I feel it's going to be hard for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to desert Ruto. He's being trapped. I'll explain to you. If the Right Honorable Raila Odinga decided to desert Ruto in 2027 and vie for presidency, I feel he wouldn't have the moral authority to oppose William Arap Samuel Ruto. It's going to be hard for him when he deserts the broad-based government and he go on a campaign trail, standing on rooftops and telling Kenyans that William Arap Samuel Ruto has destroyed our economy. He has borrowed so much money. He has overtaxed citizens. He has not created jobs for the young Kenyans. It's going to be hard for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to oppose Ruto on this basis. Because one, when he will decide and stand and maybe tell Kenyans that the Ruto government has failed completely to create jobs for the young Kenyans, Ruto will come out and say, you are telling me that my government has failed to create jobs for the young people in Kenya, but when I was in my government, I appointed some members from your cabinet, from your party, to be part of my government. They served in very prominent position. I appointed Wycliffe Oparanya to lead the Ministry of Cooperatives and Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises, which is a very important sector. The sector ensures that there is job creation in the economy and different economic activity. What did they do when he was, or what did he do when he was in charge of that ministry? How many jobs did he create? That is one argument that Ruto is going to come up with. So before Raila Odinga would say that Ruto has failed to create jobs for the young people, Ruto will pose the question, what did Wycliffe Oparanya do? How many jobs did he create when he was the cabinet secretary for cooperatives and micro, small and medium enterprises development? How many jobs did he create? Before Raila Odinga will go and say that the government of Ruto has borrowed so much money from maybe the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund, or all these, and that the country is grappling with lots of debt, William Ruto will come out and say, we had an agreement and I tapped on a member of ODM, a prominent member of ODM, who served as a cabinet secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning, John Badi. What did he do with things to do with the debt? What was his plan? Where was he when you people claim that I was overtaxing Kenya and he was the one in charge of the National Treasury? He was the one in charge with getting out money to different sectors of the government. What did John Badi do when he was the cabinet secretary for National Treasury and Economic Planning? Before Raila Odinga will come out and say maybe the price of fuel is high and that because of that it is affecting all sectors of the economy, Ruto will come out and say, I had appointed Ali Hassan Joho as the minister of, Opiyo Wandayi as the cabinet secretary for energy and petroleum. Where was he when you people were saying that my government was actually raising prices on fuel? What did Opiyo Wandayi do when he was the cabinet secretary for energy and petroleum? What did he do about the prices of fuel in the country? What did Opiyo Wandayi do to make sure that the prices of fuel in the country stay stable or at a very low rate? Before he would say that maybe the resources in the country are being owned by some specific group of people who are in government like Ruto and his close friends, and that these minerals are being mined and taken by people who are close to Ruto, Ruto will come out and say, I tapped a member of your party, ODM, Ali Hassan Joho, to lead the Ministry of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. What did Ali Hassan Joho do about that? You know, this is why I said it's gonna be hard for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to come out in 2027 and oppose the government of Ruto based on these reasons, because Ruto has appointed members of the Orange Democratic Movement, the ODM, to actually lead very, very prominent positions in the government. And that for this reason, it's gonna be very, very hard for Raila Odinga to come out and oppose Ruto. Yes, he may decide and desert Ruto in 2027 and say he want to vie for presidency, or he would even go and front someone else to be the flag bearer for the ODM political party. But then it's just gonna be hard for these people to oppose the Ruto government, because they were appointed to serve in very many prominent positions that actually would drive the economy of the country, but they did nothing. So this is why I feel it is very hard for the Orange Democratic Movement in 2027 to desert Ruto and go apart and just go front a candidate and say they are actually seeking to lead the country. It's going to be hard for them, because right now they are part of the Ruto government, and any problem that the Ruto government is creating on the Kenyan people, they're going to be part of it. So the problem that the Kenyans are raising right now are raised on the ODM squarely, because the Kenyans feel that the government of Ruto is creating so many problems, but even members of the ODM are part of this government. So it's going to be hard. Raila only have options. One is to stick with Ruto in 2027, and the second one is to stick with Ruto. He doesn't have any option. He has to stick, because he might decide to leave Ruto, but he is going to be irrelevant. This is my prediction. This is my opinion. He is going to be irrelevant in a manner that it's going to be hard for him to convince the Kenyan people that he actually has the capacity to lead the Kenyan economy better than William Arap Samoei Ruto. It's gonna be hard for him. It's gonna be hard for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to do that, because Ruto has appointed major members of his political party to serve in his government, and I feel that is where I feel Ruto is very smart. Ruto is not just, if people say Ruto is smart, this is one of the reasons why you should really see his smartness. Very, very smart move, because Ruto knew that his main opponents in the 2027 elections are going to be mainly members of the ODM political party, because by that time there was no any critical opponents like we have Rigathi Gachagua right now. Rigathi was not there because he was the deputy president. So Ruto knew that in 2027 the major opponents that are going to oppose his government, or that are going to face his candidacy in 2027 is going to be the Right Honorable Raila Odinga and the ODM political party. So he acted so smart by bringing these people into government, so that in 2027 they will have no option. They will have no option to get out and wants to run against William Arap Samoei Ruto, because one, he would have actually made these people known to Kenyan that they have no any better plans than Ruto, because they served in a very prominent position but still were not able to deliver better services to the people of Kenya. And therefore Kenyans will lose trust in them, because they will have in their mind that even if we vote for the ODM political party, or when we vote for the Right Honorable Raila Odinga to be the president of Kenya in 2027, he would still have the same people who served with Ruto as cabinet secretary to appoint them and lead the country in 2027. So if these people were not able to bring any change when they were in bed with Ruto, how confident are they they're going to create a different, bring a change after 2027. So this is going to be the major point of argument in 2027. Should the Honorable Raila Odinga decided to desert William Arab Samuel Ruto and vie for presidency, or just front any other member of the ODM as a flag bearer for the Orange Democratic Movement to run against the to run against William Arab Samuel Ruto? It's going to be hard for him. So I feel that the time is now for Raila Odinga to consolidate his support for Ruto, because he has no option left. He will have to stick with Ruto. So it is high time that Right Honorable consolidate his working agreement with Ruto. So by 2027, he will still stick with Ruto and support Ruto for a second term, because I feel he has no option, completely no option to desert Ruto and run as an ODM presidential candidate against William Ruto. Ruto will have an upper hand against him, because and it's not even about things to do with appointing these members into very prominent position, but Ruto will have an argument that there's this debate that since the inception of Kenya, there's never been a member of the Luo community or the Luo Nyanza community who has been appointed to a very prominent position like the National Treasury and Economic Planning. So it is first of its kind that when Ruto became a president, a member of the Luo Nyanza in the names of John Badi was appointed to lead the National Treasury and the Economic Planning Ministry. Very important. And also, when we look at the members of ODM that Ruto tapped them and brought them into government, they came from very diverse regions. So Ruto will have an argument that his government is the first of its kind that has diverse members of Kenyans from all communities. When you look at the Luo Nyanza in this government was well represented. Look at the coast. We have Hassan Ali Joho was brought in. Look at the West. We have Wycliffe Oparanya brought in. Arguably, Ruto would say his government was the first of its kind that has brought actually Kenyans from all regions into his government. So Ruto will have a very, very logical reasons to tell Kenyans that he was better than all these people, because Raila will definitely have no any way to defend himself, because members of these political parties were serving with Ruto, right? So they were given the chance to lead the country, but they were unable. So what miracle is it going to make that when he vie for a presidency and ask for Kenyans to vote for him in 2027, what miracle is it going to make to bring change through the same set of people who were in government with Ruto but failed to deliver to Kenyans? So I feel this is going to be a very huge point of argument from William Arab Samuel Ruto that he's going to pose against the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. And Raila Odinga has no option. So when you see him sticking with Ruto, I feel he meant it. And it's going to be real that I feel Raila Odinga is not going anywhere. He has come to the broad-based government to stay and stay until 2027 or beyond. Because also, I think Raila feels that he's getting old, and therefore he wants to enjoy all the benefits that comes with being a president. That comes along with working with the president. He is not a president, but he enjoys so much benefits that comes with that. So he feels comfortable right now. He's not minding about being irrelevant anymore, because he's in his senior stage of politics. He's in his evening hours of politics. So I know he's gonna be so much self-centered about himself. He's just gonna be thinking much about himself, and yeah. So this is why I think that the Right Honorable Raila Odinga was trapped into the broad-based government by Ruto. So that was my analysis about this, and thanks for watching. If you feel this video is interesting, please leave a comment, and if this is your first time, please subscribe to our video. And until next time, I remain Emmanuel Taban, and this is the Concern Podcast, where we unpack political, social, and economic stories that shapes our communities and shape our world. Thank you so much, and thanks for watching.